Attention duelist slacker satellites, welcome back to the Yugi retrospective. That's what I'm calling it now. Before we move on to the XYZ era of Yu-Gi-Oh, we are gonna rewind a bit to 2010. Obama's in the middle of his first term, Instagram was first launched, as well as the iPad. We were reminded terrible oil companies are still terrible, and most importantly, it was the 10th anniversary of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. You might think, wait, did they do anything for the 15th anniversary of the entire franchise that happened a year later in 2011? Yeah, they released a special series of cards. Only in Japan. That was for the 15th anniversary of the card game, not the franchise, so no, they didn't. But all over the world to celebrate the anime's 10th anniversary, Gallop made a movie, in a very loose sense. One that would bring together all the protagonists from every era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Bonds Beyond Time. In 3D! Now I said very loose sense because it's actually a 50-minute OVA that only reaches 50 minutes because of credits. Now if you've seen my videos on movies, you'd know I don't consider this to be a movie. It's an OVA, but every source about Yu-Gi-Oh! Considers this to be a movie, so here I am. It did alright financially for being mostly relegated to DVD and a short Japanese theatrical release, but it's not up to numbers to say if a movie based on Yu-Gi-Oh! That's actually an OVA is good. It's up to me. And I actually think it's good. No, seriously, there's no but or anything going on with that. I think this is a good Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie. If you're a fan who's been keeping up with everything involved with the anime for the past 10 years. Yeah, the one downside of this being a crossover between multiple series that's attempting to have some kind of continuity is that if you have not watched the show, you will not understand anything going on. Because the plot heavily revolves around 5Ds, it was the current series at the time, and hell, even if you did keep up with the series in English, you'd be confused as to why Jaden has all of these superpowers now, and that he's alive and not at Duel Academy. So yeah, big problem if you haven't seen all of these shows, including the parts that didn't come here to the West. Because, you know, being 50 minutes, they don't really have time for explaining things. Luckily, you've watched every single one of my videos at least 3 times, and liked, commented, and subscribed on every single one of them, right? You're all caught up and have no questions, right? If not, I mean, why not just rewatch them all, if you know what I'm saying, ooh-woo. With all that rigmarole out the way, let's take a look at the movie Yu-Gi-Oh! Bonds Beyond Time. In 3D! Our story begins like any other Yu-Gi-Oh! Story, in London, where we meet back up with the next king of games himself, Jaden Yuki, who, again, if you only watch the dub, are probably very confused that he's alive and not at Duel Academy, and fused with Yubel. Also, Banner is here and he's a ghost, which I say again, watch my video. This whole thing is just going to be me pushing traffic to my old videos, and I'm okay with that. Jaden is currently being attacked by some mysterious man who seems to really want to get rid of him. And to Jaden, what the man does next means nothing to him, but to us, it means something, I guess. The man summons a monster to attack him. He uses Rainbow Dragon, Cyber Dragon, and Yusei's Stardust Dragon, who we cut to, and I'm not exactly sure when this takes place in the 5Ds world. It's definitely after the Dark Signer arc, and I guess it's sometime in the pre-WGRPG stuff, because Bruno's not here. It's very unclear. And I do try to catch some people up to what's going on as Jack and Crow deliver awkward exposition about Zero Reverse.
But it was so long ago, and New Domino City's rebuilt itself since your father's research was compromised.
Cool. Anyway, let's ride, boys. But then we see the same man that attacked Jaden show up on his own runner and challenges Yusei to a duel. But not really, because when Yusei summons his Stardust Dragon, the man captures it in a card, then Back to the Future's his way out of here. The boys go back to the garage and wonder, what the fuck, when the twins and my wife show up, because the twins were researching the history of duel monsters, and we see some familiar faces.
Hey, I recognize that guy.
I should hope so. That's Maximilian Pegasus, the chairman of Industrial Illusions. He's the creator of duel monsters.
Yugi Muto, the king of games himself. They say he's the best duelist to have ever picked up a deck.
Doesn't look so tough to me. Of course, how could you with that dated haircut?
Oh, come on, guys. Granddad's there, too. What, there's no love for him? He didn't get written into the history books? You know, he was a guest star on Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. He deserves your respect. That's not what they wanted to show them, because on the next page is Yusei's Stardust Dragon, which they all point out shouldn't exist yet.
The article says that all sorts of dragons appeared one day and, like, blasted almost all of Europe.
I like how he said that so nonchalantly, like this is a regular occurrence in Yu-Gi-Oh! Land. They also wonder why none of them remember this happening. And this is another one of those things they don't explain in the movie, but we know from watching the anime, it's because of their signer powers. It shields them from Iliaster's whole time travel shenanigans. Spoilers, this is Iliaster's doing. And we see that man who might possibly be from Iliaster in the photo. No time for that, because all of reality starts being erased, as clearly that man is doing some wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey shenanigans. That's when all the signer marks glow and appear on Yusei's back, powering his runner, allowing Yusei, with the power of the Crimson Dragon, to time travel. Didn't know that was a power the Crimson Dragon had. I feel like that would have been useful to know for several occasions. Trogdor, could have told them that in the instruction manual or something. That's when we cut back to the Slifer Slacker, who's about to bite it, but Yusei shows up with CD, saving Jaden. And then the man just leaves. Don't know why, he was clearly winning, but I guess all he wanted was Jaden's Neos card. After he leaves, Yusei and Jaden meet and talk, which is a weird sentence to say.
You're a tough kid. Jaden, that's what he called you, right?
Yep, that's my name. And dueling's my game. Of course, it didn't seem like much of a game to that guy.
Oh yeah, I do like that not only are the original VAs for Jaden and Yugi back, but whenever they're on screen, they reuse the music from their respective shows, like the dub versions. It's a nice touch. The three shows' musics do not go together at all, but I'm feeling nostalgic for it, so it's okay. One thing I'm not into is the pacing. This stuff is moving so fast. It's only been 10 minutes, and it feels like way too much happened already. I guess there's no choice considering this is like 45 minutes of animation and most of it has to be a duel, because Yu-Gi-Oh! But I would like more time for these characters from different series to talk more. I like that stuff about crossovers. Especially wish they had the other characters from GX and the OG, because spoilers, besides Pegasus and Granddad showing up for a cameo, we see no other characters but the main ones. Which again, being animated, you could have had them shown up at least. I mean, you can draw them. I like to see what the other GX characters are doing now, like just in a little 5-second clip, you know? And I guess we will see what the OG Yu-Gi-Oh gang are up to in the next anniversary movie, but that's like 2 series from now, so I'm not even thinking about that. I know it's complaining about things we don't have, and that's useless. It's just, to me, if you're gonna do a big crossover like this, you know, go hard or don't try at all. Anyway, Yusei and Jaden talk about what happened, with Yusei being able to see Yubel and Banner because of his mark. Jaden says his friends, who we don't see, told him that guy was going around stealing cards, which explains why he had Jesse and Zane's cards, who we don't see. So the two decide to team up and figure this time traveler went further back, but not as far as last time. But no time to figure out when that was exactly, because we see all of reality again start to crumble, so they bolt. And we cut back in time to the king himself.
This certainly is a good turnout.
And it's no wonder why. The rumor is Pegasus himself is going to be here today.
Again, it's not clear when this is happening in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. Really, Jaden's the only one where you can clearly tell when this is taking place for him. It's after the finale. Considering Yugi has his duel disc and his Millennium Puzzle, it must be after Battle City, but before the Egypt arc, which seems to be when they set any extra story in Yu-Gi-Oh! So Yugi and Granddad are here for some kind of Duel Monsters event where Pegasus will announce something. Honestly, I don't know or care what this event is about. But they got Pirate Hitler. You know it's gotta be a special occasion when they bring out PH. That's when Mystery Man shows up with his dragons and murks everyone, and a really dramatic scene of Yugi being the only survivor, seeing everyone, including his granddad, dead.
No. Grandpa, he's...
Wow. What a powerful scene that you could not absorb at all, because immediately Trogdor comes out of nowhere and takes Yugi slightly back in time to before the man showed up. And yep, for the first time, and only time really, the 3 main protags of the first 3 Yu-Gi-Oh! Series meet.
My name's Yusei Fudo.
And I'm Jaden Yuki.
Yusei and Jaden. I'm Yugi Muto.
Oh, there's no need to tell us who you are. We know.
You do? How's that?
Because we're from the future. It's no big whoop.
A little annoyed that there's no mention of Jaden meeting Yugi, technically. Sorry, I'm a comic nerd. I get a little nitpicky when it comes to big crossover events, alright? I like my fan service in more ways than one, as you can tell. Jaden and Yusei tell Yugi whoever this guy is really hates Pegasus and wants to get rid of him, because when he does, all of Duel Monsters will go with him, which makes no sense at this point in time, because Duel Monsters has been made and it's pretty successful, and yeah, sad Pegasus dies, okay, but I think Yugi or Kaiba would keep the series going by continuing to make the game. Look, I'm just saying, if this guy can time travel, wouldn't it make more sense for him to go back in time to the point before Pegasus made Duel Monsters? And you know, not a point in time where the King of Games, literally the strongest duelist in history, one of the few people that can stop him, is arguably at his strongest. Just saying. Because not only does he have to deal with him, but also Yusei and Jaden, who convince Yugi to help them save the future by facing this man.
Let's make this guy sorry he ever messed with us.
Glad to have you on our side.
Yeah, try ecstatic. We've got the king of games in our corner. Now let's do this.
So Jaden has Yubel scare the crowd away with magic when the man shows up, taking off his mask, revealing some guy. And introduces himself as Paradox.
The name's Paradox.
Paradox?
I doubt that you've heard of me. In fact, I'm very much certain that you haven't. After all, I don't come from any of your eras in time.
Yep, you remember from the last video, Zo1 mentioned him. He is the last of the 4 survivors of the future destroyed by synchro summoning. Meaning this moment where Yusei meets Yugi and Jaden is canon. Hell, Yusei confirms this in the anime himself when he seems to acknowledge Paradox's existence, which is still so surprising to me.
Paradox. あいつもお前の差し金だったのか?
Usually these time travel crossovers between series are, what ifs or non-canon, because, time travel really fucks up any semblance of continuity any series tries to have. Especially since, while, yeah, GX takes place a few years after the OG, 5Ds has so little connection being in the future, it feels even weirder trying to connect the two timelines because they already feel so disconnected. But at least we know why Paradox is doing this. It's his plan to save the future while Iliaster is going back to when synchro summoning was rampant. He decided to go to the source. Which, man, if you haven't seen 5Ds, you would not get, because Paradox is so vague here on his motivation, basically saying bad things happen because of this children's card game, so it's gotta go. Of course, the pro tags won't allow this, because otherwise they'd have nothing to do on weekends. So they have a 1v3 duel.
Paradox, get ready to get your game on.
Your twisted time crusade stops here. Let's rev it up.
I have just one thing to say to you, Paradox. It's time to duel!
Wow, they all said the thing that they say. That's so cool. So you might be wondering how the hell this duel works. Paradox goes, then a pro tag goes, then Paradox takes another turn, and then the next pro tag takes their turn. Kinda weird, but it's meant to be so, all the protagonists get a turn, so we see them bring out their cool monsters. The last 20 minutes of this movie is a duel, of course, and like usual, I'm not recapping this duel turn by turn. It's good, everyone gets a chance to do their thing and play their ace monsters and stuff, but I'm not going over all of it, so here's the highlights. When Yusei synchro summons, Yugi is like, what the fuck is a synchro summon? And Jaden loves it.
I summon forth the synchro monster, Jump Gardener!
Synchro what?
I don't know, but I like it.
I also like how the pro tags are constantly jerking each other off, figuratively. Calm down, fangirls. Every move they make, the other two are like, whoa, sick play, bro.
A perfect counter.
Aw, I just figured it would have been rude of me to let you go without a monster out there with you.
Thanks.
For some reason, Dark Magician and DMG talk during the duel. I guess that's just a thing they do now.
Looks like it's going to be a real trick for us to come out on top here.
Well, perhaps. But remember, as magicians, there is no trick that we can't pull off.
Also, the jokey 4Kids dialogue is still here, and it's great.
Okay, I've seen some big monsters in my life, but that behemoth definitely takes the cake.
And it probably ate it, too.
Also, since this came out during the airing of 5Ds, I do like how it's sort of tied into Yusei's development, with him wrestling with the fact that dual monsters, the thing that he loves, will destroy the future, but with the help of Atem and Jaden, who have already been through their own shit, help him through it, allowing him to be the one to deal the finishing blow. I think that's very appropriate considering he is the latest pro tag from the latest season, and Paradox is technically from there, so it makes sense to me he'd be the one to save the day. After they beat Paradox, it's over. Yeah, that's it. Seriously, it just ends. There's barely any epilogue. It's only 50 minutes, remember? Pro tags say goodbye, see you in Duel Links, as Yusei returns to his time, and credits.
Well, guess this is goodbye then. Great meeting you both. Hey, think we'll all meet again sometime?
Yeah, but let's hope that when we do, the whole world of duel monsters isn't on the line again.
You said it, Yusei. Maybe we could duel each other. Whatever happens, I know the bond we formed here today is one that's going to stand the test of time.
All of time.
Absolutely.
But man, finally a good Yu-Gi-Oh movie. OVA. Yeah, again, you need to really be up on your Yu-Gi-Oh lore to follow this and get some, or really most of the references. But if you do, it's pretty alright for a crossover. I mean, it's no endgame, but it's better than other anime crossovers I've seen. Digimon. Now again, I personally wish they did more with it. I would have loved to see the other characters I like from these shows be more involved. See, say, Chaz meet Jack Atlas. That'd be something. But instead of dwelling on that, what we have is fine, you know. At least I think there's enough where if you're a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh, you should be happy with this. Not to mention, yeah, for the first time, we have a well-animated Yu-Gi-Oh thing. That's right. Look, we have actual frames of animation. It took 10 years, but it finally happened. I mean, if I had to critique the animation a little bit, it goes a little too hard sometimes, but there's still no real Sakuga 120 FPS moments, you know? It's the best we got so far, though. Probably the best we'll ever get, honestly. So yeah, all in all, a fine OVA celebrating the 10th anniversary of the anime. It works. But it's all over now, as finally, Satellites, we are done. That's all the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's content I got for you. That's the last thing based on it. And hey, now that the future is safe, what do you say we take a look at what that bright future is supposed to look like? We've done a lot in Yu-Gi-Oh! So far, haven't we? Fought Egyptian gods, traveled through time, traveled through dimensions. But there's still one place we haven't been to yet. One place no children's card game has gone to before. One place where capitalism, ban lists, and cards with the word negate printed on them can't touch us. Space! You ever wanted to see kids duel on the moon? Well then join me next time, duelists, as we take a look at the most underrated Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Hope you're ready to high-five the sky, feel the flow, get set to get decked. Does he say anything else? I don't know. Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal's next.
Whoever can open this door will gain a great new power. But know that with such a reward comes great risk.
Great risk.
Have you the courage to unlock this power?
Have you the courage?
Great risk? Let me think about it. Don't think so.